Is it broadcasting? Hello, I'm Antonia Honeywell. I'm a prime writer, which means my debut novel was published over the age of 40, and this is where I write. Actually, this isn't where I write, it's where I've been writing these past couple of weeks, which is lucky for anyone watching, because normally I'd be at a corner of my kitchen table. This is far more interesting and exciting place. And it's also really appropriate to the way that I write, because where I write is in gaps. I write in the gaps between a very, very busy domestic life with an awful lot going on. I wrote my very first novel when I was teaching full-time, and I had this wonderful big plan where I was going to get published, and then I was going to settle down, have my children. Writing would be my career while that was going on. But God and the publishing industry had other plans for me, and I produced children and unpublished novels at more or less exactly the same rate and in equal quantities before the ship was brought by vowed and Nicholson. And so what I do, where I write, is basically anywhere where I have my laptop and my notebook and a wall to bang my head against. If I was at home, you'd also see a big flip chart pad with covered in coloured post-it notes. I tend to write a first draft, find out what the story is, and then use post-its and huge flip chart paper to plan out then what the story is about before I go into a second draft. Also, when I write, where I write, I ideally have a kettle and small box of sugar-free sweets, because the minute I sit down to write I suddenly realise I'm hungry or thirsty or there are some socks that need pairing or something, and my sugar-free sweets help keep me focused. I also, ideally in a writing space, have a piano. I find piano practice a really, really helpful discipline. And it really helps my writing as well. Writing is so nebulous, and it's really hard to pin down. You're catching after ideas, and I envy a writer who can write and know at the time that what they're writing is good. I'm not like that. I have to write it down, go away, come back. And it can be easy to lose heart with that. With the piano, I'm always reminded that it's not just about inspiration, but about hard work and practice, practice, practice. If I spend half an hour on the piano practicing my scales, they will improve. They can't help it. Even I can see that. And I try and transfer that discipline into my writing. If I can spend an hour or two writing, my writing will get better, and hopefully longer. It's a little bit deeper than that as well. I always wanted proper lessons when I was growing up. I was a very strange child, quite lonely, and I messed about on the piano a lot by myself with no real structure. As an adult, I realised it was in my control whether I had lessons or not, and now I learn alongside the children. I'm a real adult beginner, and that's not just confined to the piano. Holiday rental houses like this are unpredictable, but this one has been a fantastic place to write. We knew it was part of a former convent, but since we arrived we've learned that it's actually a former home for repentant courtesans. And what that's done, I've been finishing my second novel here, but knowing where I am and the kind of things that have gone on here, novel 3's been banging down the door while I've been trying to finish novel 2. I'll show you the view from the window actually. When you look, I can't believe, have I got it, that the, shall I take it over? Look, there must be a way of turning this round. Oh, I can't do it. Anyway, have a look. This is where we are. And I simply cannot believe that the courtesans here were as repentant as maybe the people running the place might have liked to think. On our first night here, my mother-in-law, we're here with my parents-in-law, and until very recently my sister-in-law and her husband and their 2 children as well, so it's been quite busy. The first night a couple of bats flew in, We're in the south of France, and my mother-in-law absolutely refused to come out of the bathroom. She would not come out of the bathroom. We were all, the first night, we were a little bit worried about her, and in the end we all went to bed. And in the morning, she came out beautifully rested, really happy, and said it was the first morning in 30 years she'd woken up without back pain, because she'd been sleeping on the ceramic floor in the bathroom. So I think this is a good place. It's got a wonderful atmosphere, and the idea of it as a home for repentant courtesans links in with my fascination about the notion of where is the line between a prison and a chosen environment. The Ship, my debut novel, pretends to be a post-apocalyptic dystopia, but it's actually about that choice, about how the choices we make impact upon our own lives and upon the lives of others. I come to a place like this with my family, and I just want to keep us all safe in an environment like this forever and ever. And that's not possible. It can't happen. And it's that desire that the ship is actually exploring. And my own life feels so constricted at times. I want to write. That's what I've always wanted to do. Now I'm doing it. And I always thought that getting published would confer upon me the time to do it, like some kind of benediction. And that hasn't happened. And so I'm here, writing on holiday, stealing the time for this very video, filling the gaps where they are with stories, and hoping those stories will find an audience. And I can't see that changing. But it's not a bad thing. There's no better way to teach the children about perseverance and failure and resilience than by going through it myself. And there's no better way to keep oneself going through those things than by finding the other people who are in the same boat. So my holiday reading is over here. This is basically, and you'll see that most of them are or a lot of them are my fellow prime writers. And these are the books I've read on holiday. It's been fantastic. And I've never met these people if I haven't one day sent out a cry on Twitter asking whether anyone else was publishing a debut novel over the age of 40. It took me a long time. And there are loads of us. That's heartening. I wish I'd known that we were going to exist when I was trying to get published in my late 20s and early 30s. And our stories of how we've come to be published writers are as many and as various as our novels. So do look out as we continue this Where I Write series with other prime writers throughout August. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, have a good afternoon.